Hello, LREA members. It's your president, Teresa Knapp Gordon, with your fireside chat for this week. And this week, we're going to talk about the status of our district, where we are as far as state control, and some important things that are going on in the legislature, as well as an event coming up next week that you can take part in. So, big news today. Yesterday, a bill was filed by Senator Will Bond, Senator Linda Chesterfield, Senator Joyce Elliott, Representative Andrew Collins, Representative Charles Blake, and Representative Tippy McCullough. It's Senate Bill 553, and what this bill does is it amends Arkansas Code 6152917, which is the takeover law, to give a clear path to school districts that are under state control for being released from state control. As you know, we were taken over January 28, 2015 by the state for a very small percentage of our schools being labeled as in academic distress under No Child Left Behind. Since that time, the federal law has changed to ESSA, which is the Every Student Succeeds Act, and the state law regarding takeovers has changed. And because of that, it has created some confusion about what exactly we have to do in order to be released from state control. And so in 2017, a new law was drafted to fit ESSA, and the law was created, but it still focused on punishment of schools that were labeled as being in distress. And that is not the intent of the new ESSA law. The new ESSA law, the federal law, is about supporting those schools that are in distress, not about punishing them. And in addition, there's no clear requirement as to what it takes to get out of state control. It's very clearly defined as to what can happen if you don't show improvement, but it doesn't say anything about what level of improvement you have to reach in order to be released from state control. And because of that, the Arkansas Department of Education and the Arkansas State Board created some criteria, and that criteria was released at the state board meeting and caused a lot of consternation, because basically it said that we had to show that all of our F schools had to show improvement on the test coming up in April in order to be released. And so nobody knew that was going to be what we were going to be judged by, and so everybody's kind of worried about it. But this bill that was filed yesterday amends the law to give specific requirements or specific pathways for districts to be released. As you know, we're under state control. Earl is under state control. Pine Bluff is under state control. And there are some rumors of some other districts that are about to be taken over for fiscal distress, not academic distress. So it says, what this bill says is that if a public school district has not demonstrated to the state board and the Department of Education that the public school district meets the criteria to exit level 5 intensive support within 5 years of the assumption of authority, the state board may, it changes shall to may, so it strikes through shall and changes it to may, annex, consolidate, or reconstitute the public school district under 613-1401 in this subchapter. Then it says, however, a public school district shall be returned to local control if, after 5 years of the assumption of authority by the state board under this section, the public school district has met any of the following criteria. And this is where it's important. The shall to may was important too. If you ever negotiated any kind of contract, which I have, we always recommend that we put shall in there because may gives leeway and shall does not. If it says shall, that means it has to be done, no questions asked. If it says may, well, it could be done, could not be done. It's up to whoever makes the decisions. And so it's an important distinction to change that one word from shall to may. It gives a lot of leeway to the decision makers. So then it says that the public school district has, if the public school district has met any, not all, any of the following criteria. So here are the criteria. A, the public school district has demonstrated substantial improvement of the issues that cause the classification of the public school district as being in need of level 5 intensive support. B, the state board determines that the public school district has adopted a plan to correct the issue or issues that cause the classification of the public school district as being in need of level 5 intensive support, and all public schools within the public school district that is classified as being in need of level 5 intensive support are making demonstrable progress towards the removal of the level 5 intensive support classification. Or, see there's an or there, the number of public schools that are classified as in need of level 5 intensive support within a public school district has increased while under the authority of the state board. And who does that apply to? That applies to Little Rock School District because we went from 6 schools to 22 schools listed as being in distress. So that creates a clear pathway for the Little Rock School District to be released from state control. Now, what has to happen in order for this to become law? Well, it has to get out of committee. So we need legislators to support it in the Senate committee, Senate Ed probably, and in the House Ed committee. So we need you to contact your legislators. And not only do we need you to contact your Little Rock legislators, we need you to contact your friends and family and colleagues all over the state and have them contact their legislators, because eventually it has to go to the House and Senate floor and it has to pass there. So we need all hands on deck. We need everybody contacting everybody they know and asking them to contact their legislators and asking them to support Senate Bill 553. Now, next Wednesday, March 20th, I know is spring break, but there will be a Red for Ed Day at the state capitol beginning at 8:30 a.m. So that would be a perfect opportunity for you to put on a red shirt or some red pants or some red socks or all red and show up at the state capitol with all your friends and family in red, and let's send a strong message about educators and what our expectations are for our legislators, because there have been some bad bills filed this session, and a lot of them are not friendly to education and educators in the public sector. So maybe it's time that we put a little red on and show up at our state capitol like some of these other states have done. Now, I'm not talking about going on strike, of course, and I'm not talking about disrupting business at the state capitol. All I'm talking about is showing up with red on to create a visual impact. So every public school in the state is out for spring break next week. And I know we have plans. You know, my garage really needs cleaning out, and I've put it on my list of to do for next week, but you know how that goes. So, what's important? What will it take for the educators of Arkansas to stand together as one. I think that if this legislative session can't do it, I don't know what can. So, tell your people, tell your folks, your kinfolks, your relatives, your friends, your family, that Wednesday, March 20th is the day to stand up. And you want them to put on a red shirt and come to the state capitol. You don't have to stay till 5 o'clock, come at 8:30, stay a couple of hours. Usually the education committees meet at 10 o'clock. So you can send a pretty strong message then. Can you imagine what it would look like if we had a sea of red in the halls of the state capitol? What a strong message that would send, that, hey, guess what? Educators are voters, and educators are watching what you're doing, and we want you to know about it. And so, maybe sends a message that if you don't do right by public education, maybe you need a new job. So contact your legislators, ask them to support SB 553 when it runs. Contact Senators Bond, Chesterfield, and Elliott. Contact Representatives Collins, Blake, and McCullough. Tell them thank you so much for filing the bill. And show up with red on at the state capitol next week on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. If you can't be there at 8:30, be there at 9. Be there at 9:30. But show up with your red on. Tell your friends that live in Conway and Bryant and Fayetteville, Springdale, and wherever else they live to contact their legislators. Tell them, ask them to support SB 553 when it runs. Ask them to put on some red and show up. We could have a party, go out to eat, whatever. Come shopping. It's spring break. Make a day of it. Drive down to Little Rock, have a good time, support public education, and then go enjoy your spring break. So it's a perfect opportunity for educators to show that they care about public education. And, nobody can tell the difference between an educator and a cousin, or an educator and an aunt or uncle of an educator. So put a red shirt on everybody you know and bring them to the state capitol. 8:30, March 20th. See you there. Thanks so much. Have a great spring break. Enjoy yourself. Take some time to do what you love that refreshes and revitalizes you, so that we can finish the year strong. When we come back, we have 45 days left of the school year. Can you believe that? So enjoy your spring break. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and we can get out and do some things. But on Wednesday, I need you at the state capitol with your red on. See you then. Thanks. Bye.